Most men never learn this. It's not money, it's not muscles, it's not looks. If you understand these 10 silent weaknesses that almost every woman has, you'll never have to chase again. You become the man she thinks about, even in silence. Let's begin. 1. She can't handle mystery. Let me tell you a secret. The moment she can fully read you, she stops thinking about you. It's not because she's cruel. It's because her brain no longer has anything to solve. Women don't fall for men who show everything too soon. They fall for the ones they can't quite figure out. Not the loud guys, not the overthinkers, not the ones texting 5 times a day with good morning messages. She falls for the man who doesn't explain his every move, who doesn't rush to fill every silence, who smiles but doesn't beg, who listens but never tries to impress. And here's what happens. Her brain starts working overtime. Why is he so calm? Is he into me? Why do I want him to open up more? That tension, that mystery, it triggers something deep. It's not about being rude, it's about being rooted. Most men don't get this. They talk too much. They reveal too fast. They try to win her over with words, but she doesn't fall for words. She falls for the unknown, for the guy who keeps his emotions centered, for the one who doesn't overreact, for the one she can't predict. When you say less, she leans in more. When you don't explain, she imagines, and her imagination will always be more powerful than your explanation. So if you've ever had a woman say, "You're so hard to read," good, you're doing it right. Because mystery doesn't make her pull away, it pulls her in. 2. She feels more. When you talk less. Most men don't get this. They think they need to keep talking to keep her interested. They believe more words equals more attraction. So they text all day. They compliment too soon. They explain themselves over and over again. But here's the truth. A woman feels you more when you say less. She listens closely when your words are rare. She notices your energy. She watches your face. And her mind starts to wonder, why is he so calm? Why isn't he trying so hard? Why do I feel more around him even when he's silent? That's the secret most men never learn. It's not about saying the perfect thing. It's about making your silence feel strong. When you speak less, your words carry weight. Your energy starts to do the talking. Your stillness becomes louder than noise. And here's what happens next. She slows down. She starts watching you closer. She waits for you to speak. And when you finally do, she listens. Because you didn't waste your breath trying to impress her. You stayed calm, grounded, present. She's used to men who talk nonstop, who spill everything, who need her reaction to feel worthy. But you're not chasing her approval. You're just being real. And that calmness, that control, it makes her feel something she doesn't feel often. Safe, not just safe physically. Safe to be herself. Safe to drop the act. Safe to breathe. So if you've been wondering why some guys say less, yet get more, this is why. Because the man who listens with calm, the man who doesn't rush, the man who can sit in silence and still hold power, that's the man she remembers, even after the conversation ends. 3. She watches your reactions. You think she's not paying attention, but she is. Every woman watches how you act when things don't go your way. Not when you're happy, not when you're trying to impress her, but when you're tested. She notices when you get quiet after someone disrespects you. She notices if you stay calm when plans fall apart. She watches how you react when she gets emotional or pulls away. And guess what? She's not looking for perfection, she's looking for strength. Not loud strength, but silent strength. The kind of strength that stays still. The kind that doesn't panic. The kind that makes her feel, this man is not shaken. Most guys mess this up. They get too excited when she's nice. They get too angry when she's cold. They become emotional roller coasters trying to match her mood. But the man who holds his frame, who doesn't react just to get a reaction, that's the man she respects, even if she doesn't say it, even if she acts tough. Her body reacts before her words do. She leans in. She slows down. She watches you more closely because now you're showing her something rare. Control. Not control over her, control over yourself. And that's what most women are secretly looking for. A man who doesn't fall apart under pressure, a man who doesn't need her to stay calm in order to stay calm himself. When she sees that, she starts to trust you, not just like you, trust you, because now you're not just a guy she's talking to, you're a man she can lean on, a man who holds steady when things get shaky. So next time she gets emotional, goes quiet, or even tests you, don't take the bait, just breathe, pause, hold your ground, because your reaction shows her who you really are. And if you stay calm, she'll feel something she didn't expect. Respect. 4, she feels it when you don't chase. Let's be real, when most guys like a girl, they chase her. They double text. They check in constantly. They try hard to keep her. But here's what they don't know. Chasing too much actually pushes her away. Not because you're a bad guy, but because it tells her something. He needs me more than I need him. And the moment she feels that, her energy changes. She slows down. She replies later. She pulls back. Not out of spite, but because the chase makes her feel like she's in control. Now here's the twist. The moment you stop chasing, she starts feeling it. Not because you're playing games, not because you're being cold, but because you're finally centered. You're no longer begging for attention. You're no longer overthinking her texts. You've shifted from "please like me" to "I'll be fine either way." And that shift, it makes her curious. It makes her wonder, why isn't he trying so hard anymore? Did he lose interest? Was I wrong about him? Now she's thinking about you. Now she's checking your page. Now she's reading your last message again. Not because you chased her, but because you stopped. And here's the truth most men don't want to hear. Sometimes your silence says more than your attention ever could. When you stop pushing for validation, she starts pulling herself toward your presence. She starts wondering what she lost. She starts chasing you, but only when it's real, not fake distance, not no contact just to get her back. Real peace, the kind where you're focused on your life, on your goals, on your purpose, and suddenly you become the one who feels rare, the one who's not always available, the one who isn't scared to walk away. And that hits her harder than any love note ever will. So remember this, when you chase, she feels safe to pull back. But when you stop, she starts feeling your absence. And if you do it from peace, not ego, she'll feel something she can't ignore: regret. 6, she's drawn to men who don't need her. Let's clear something up. Most men were taught, if you give her everything, if you make her your world, she'll never leave. But that's a lie, because the moment she feels you need her to feel okay, the attraction starts to fade. Not because she's mean, not because she's ungrateful, but because deep down, she doesn't want to be your lifeline. When you rely on her for happiness, when your whole mood depends on her texts, when your confidence disappears the moment she pulls away, she starts to feel pressure. She starts to feel like your emotional babysitter. And that weight, it's not romantic, it's heavy. Now here's the flip side. When you don't need her, when your life is full, when your peace is unshaken, when your day is already meaningful before she even shows up, something changes in her. She feels pulled in, because now your attention feels like a gift, not a plea. Your energy feels earned, not expected. Your time feels rare, not clingy. And people want what they feel lucky to have, not what they feel stuck giving. This doesn't mean being cold. This doesn't mean pretending you don't care. It means you don't depend on her for your joy. You're good either way. Your heart is full, with or without her response. And that confidence, it's magnetic. Now she starts texting first. She wants to be around you. She puts in effort, not because you asked, but because your energy makes her want to. Here's the deeper truth. A woman doesn't want to feel like your world. She wants to feel like she's entering a world that's already rich, full, and meaningful, and that she has to earn her place in it. That's when she respects you. That's when she tries harder. That's when she realizes, he's not chasing me, but I still want to be chosen by him. And that's power. 7, she can't resist emotional presence. Let's be honest. You can have the best clothes, a six-pack, a fancy car, but none of that matters if you're not present. Because here's the truth. She feels your energy before she hears your voice. She feels it when you walk into a room, when you sit next to her, when you make eye contact without trying too hard. Most guys are not really there. They're in their heads, thinking what to say next, worried about impressing her, trying to make her like them. But women can sense that. Even if you don't say it, she feels the neediness. Now imagine the opposite. A man who's calm, who doesn't need to be loud, who isn't performing or pretending, who just sits still and pays attention. That kind of presence, it's rare. It makes her feel safe, not because you're saying the right things, but because you're fully here. You're listening, you're relaxed, you're not chasing, you're just being. And when a woman feels that, her energy changes. She starts opening up more. Her voice softens. She forgets to act tough because now she doesn't feel judged or watched. She feels seen. Most men don't know this. Women live in emotion. They don't always care about what you say. They care about how they feel around you. If she feels rushed, she pulls back. If she feels safe, she opens up. If she feels pressure, she resists. But if she feels your presence fully and deeply, she won't want to leave, because emotional presence is powerful, not loud, not forceful, but strong and steady. So when you stop overthinking, when you stop worrying about what she thinks, when you just breathe and let your energy speak first, she feels it, and that feeling sticks. 8. She leans in. When you pull back with class. Here's something most men don't expect. Sometimes the best way to get her attention is to stop trying so hard. Not with games, not by ghosting her to be toxic, but by pulling back with class. Here's what that means. You're not angry. You're not bitter. You're not punishing her. You just realize you've been doing too much. Maybe you always text first. Maybe you always keep the conversation going. Maybe you're always showing up while she's barely giving anything. That's the moment you pause, not to make her chase, but to protect your peace. You give her space. You stop overgiving. You stop explaining your worth. And suddenly, she feels it. She notices the gap. The silence feels heavier. She starts wondering why your energy changed. Is he okay? Did I do something wrong? Why do I miss his messages? Now she's thinking about you. Now she's reflecting. Because your distance wasn't emotional drama. It was quiet self-respect. And that's powerful. Most guys mess this up. They go cold in a childish way. They ignore her to get revenge. They try to play hard to get. But you're not playing. You've just outgrown begging. You've realized your energy's not free anymore. You're not available for one-sided effort. You're not chasing just to feel chosen. And that decision, it shifts everything. Because now you've broken the rhythm she was used to, and your attention, it feels valuable again. Not because you made her earn it, but because you stopped giving it away to someone who didn't appreciate it. That's not ego. That's self-respect. So when you pull back with calm, when you say less but mean more, when you stay peaceful, not petty, she leans in. And if she doesn't, you're still good, because you're not waiting to be chased. You've just returned to yourself. 9. She trusts a man who controls himself. Let's talk about something most men ignore. Your real power isn't in how strong you are. It's in how calm you stay. Because when things get tense, when she gets emotional, when she says something hurtful, when the conversation gets heated, most guys lose it. They yell back. They defend themselves. They try to control the moment. And in that moment, she loses trust. Not because you're weak, but because you showed her something. This man can't even control himself. How will he protect anything else? But the man who breathes, the man who stays centered, the man who doesn't try to win the argument, that man becomes something rare, a safe space, not a doormat, not a pushover, but someone who doesn't fold under pressure. She sees how you respond. She watches how your mood stays steady. She notices how your voice stays low while hers rises, and something in her starts to change. Because now she feels something deeper than attraction. She feels respect. She feels peace. She feels safe. And no, she might not say it. She might not even show it right away, but she remembers it. She remembers the man who didn't react, the man who didn't lose his cool, the man who stayed grounded even when she was testing him. That's what makes you unforgettable. Because the truth is this: if you can control yourself, she'll trust you with her heart. But if your emotions control you, she'll pull away without warning. So next time things get messy, don't react fast. Don't prove your point. Don't raise your voice just to be heard. Just pause, take a breath, stay rooted, because sometimes the strongest move you can make is to stay still. 10. She remembers the man who doesn't react. Let's end with this. You don't need to do a lot to leave a mark. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Here's what I mean. When she ignores your message, when she tries to make you jealous, when she acts cold, distant, or dramatic, most guys react. They text back too fast. They argue. They try to fix things immediately. They start chasing harder because they're scared to lose her. But you do something different. You stay still. You stay calm. You don't chase. You don't beg. You don't let your emotions run wild. And that right there, that silence, it hits her. Because now you're showing her something powerful. I am not moved by your mood. I am not controlled by how you feel. I don't need to react to feel important. That's rare. That's heavy. That's unforgettable. Because now she's sitting there thinking, why didn't he reply? Why didn't he fight back? Why does his silence feel louder than other people's words? And the answer is simple. You've mastered your energy. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to perform. You don't need to win some emotional war just to feel strong. You already are strong because you don't let temporary feelings break your permanent peace. And whether she admits it or not, she respects that. Because deep down, every woman remembers the man who didn't react, the one who stayed calm, the one who didn't fight, the one who made her question herself, not just chase him. So the next time you feel the urge to react, stop, breathe, say nothing, and let your stillness speak louder than anything you could say. Now you understand what most men never do. It's not about chasing. It's not about showing off. It's not even about saying the right words. It's about who you are when you say nothing at all. She doesn't fall for your money. She doesn't fall for your looks. She falls for how she feels around you. And if your energy is calm, if your presence is strong, if your actions are quiet but firm, she feels it. Even if she doesn't admit it, even if she tries to hide it, even if she walks away, she remembers it. Because real power isn't loud. Real power doesn't chase. Real power leads without forcing. So from now on, no more begging, no more proving, no more losing yourself just to be seen. Be the man who speaks less but means more. The man who doesn't react but reflects. The man who doesn't need to chase because he is the prize. And if this video spoke to you, don't just watch and scroll. Type in the comments, I choose presence, to lock this in, and make sure to subscribe to Stoic Thinkers, where real men rise without noise.